Anything Cricket, Let's Talk is brought to you by Rascals Barbados, My Kind of Beauty, and the Calvary Institute. Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxed atmosphere with complimentary Wi-Fi or try a takeout meal. Rascals on the Mighty Griner Highway. Call 538-9990.
Healing, nourishing, restoring. Amazing products, essential to provide healthy skin. My kind of beauty. Let it be yours.
For expert tuition, call the Calvary Institute. We offer classes at primary and secondary level. Our adult programs include floral arranging, jewelry making, crochet, knitting, sewing, photography, conversational Spanish, and more. Check out our summer special in video editing. Phone 232-2109. The Calvary Institute in Wilmot Street. Welcome to Anything Cricket, Let's Talk. Today, I'll be joined by Martin Parris, Wayne Holder, and young Ayana Holder. We've got lots of action for you today, including an interview with Cricket West Indies Director Enoch Lewis, and then an amazing feat from one of our young cricketers. You'll be hearing about that as well. So, when we come back, let's talk. Rascals Barbados. Let us serve you in a relaxed atmosphere with complimentary Wi-Fi or try a takeout meal. Rascals on the Mighty Griner Highway. Call 538-9990.
Well, first off, I want to welcome Ayana to the Anything Cricket Let's Talk family.
Yes.
Nice to have you.
Hello, it's nice to be here.
Okay. You bring the feminine touch to the Anything Cricket Let's Talk. The West Indies women just had a dismal series in England in the ICC Championship, where they lost all 3 of the matches against England. What are your thoughts on their performance?
Well, it's disappointing, obviously. You know that when we went to the World Cup a couple years ago, the performances were similar and you expected to see some type of improvement, and you haven't seen that. And I think we missed some of our key players in the series.
Yeah, the 208 runs, 121 runs, 135 runs. The batting definitely didn't click this time around.
Correct, as you said, our performances in the games were, it's hard to describe. The batting, the captain, I thought that she didn't really perform the way that you would expect, having seen that Marissa retired from cricket.
I'm glad you mentioned that. The team was without Deandra, Anissa, and Marissa.
Yeah.
The 2, Anissa and Marissa, retired from the game, but Deandra is recovering from some surgery that she was putting off for a while, but finally she's back on track. And hopefully for the future of West Indies women, we'll have her services for years to come.
I wish Deandra the best because she is one of the key players in our squad.
I understand that in the under-15 tournament there have been some performances, and in particular an all-round performance that you can share with us?
The under 15 championship this year has seen some 11 centuries, including 18 for the wicket hauls, including a feat by Nathan Seeley from the Foundation School, having taken 13 wickets in 2 matches. Well, twice. He had 2 13-wicket match hauls in matches, and he has 32 wickets in the competition, along with 152 not out. So he's a very good all-rounder.
I'm not going to question my mathematics, but somewhere in there, one of those 13 wickets sounds a
He
little
actually
bit
took
more.
10,
Aha.
took 10 in one innings.
Well, all 10 wickets.
In one innings, yep.
That is definitely a silver lining for West Indies cricket in the future.
And I must also mention he is the co-captain of the West Indies under 15 team.
10 wickets in an innings. It certainly does not happen every day. How do you feel about it?
Well, I feel very nice because that's not something that everyone accomplishes, and to get it at the age of 14 is very wonderful.
You seem like a very cool character, though. Is that how you normally play your cricket? Just cool and relax, or very intense on the field?
Well, depends. Sometimes it'll be cool, sometimes they play very intense.
Tell us a little bit more about the 10-wicket haul, though. Anything special happen that day that caused you to be able to perform so superbly?
Well, nothing really changed, but the only thing to me is that the guys we were playing together as a team. So I think that really helped me because it gave me the confidence boost. So I believe that's part of what helped me.
And who was this against?
But we were playing the Alien School.
You must have won the match.
Oh yes, we did.
And you have some 30 odd wickets, 32 wickets or so this season. You consider yourself more a bowler than a batsman?
Yes, but I consider myself as a bowling all-rounder.
But of course, your batting has been fantastic too this season in the under 15 because you also had an innings of 152, I understand, and I believe you were not out.
It was a very fun innings because I batted and expressed myself to the fullest, and everything was just going well for me.
You say you're bowling all round a left arm orthodox spinner. Is there any bowler of that type, let's say at the regional, the first class or international level, who you either model yourself after or who you particularly admire?
Well, Jomel Warikan and Shakib Hassan.
Now, you've been selected as co-captain of the West Indies team for an under-15 tour of England. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel very good because going to England to represent the West Indies and then also being appointed as a co-captain, it feels very good. I'm captaining on the 15 school team, but I normally just captain my club in Empire Juniors.
Okay, so I guess that's the Warcan connection, the fact that you play with the Empire Junior.
Yes, please.
Who are some of the other players at the Empire Club who you tend to admire a lot, especially in the batting department? We know Joe Milwaukee is it for you with the ball. What about the batsman?
Well, he might be old, but I still look at Jason Haynes, and I like Kevin Stoke and Justin Grace.
What about the Test cricketer Rossin Chief?
But yeah, Rossin is my main batsman that I actually like to watch in the Caribbean, but he doesn't be around the Empire setup that much because he's mainly on West Indies duty. So Justin and Kevin, those are the people who we look at a lot.
All right. Well, we hope that the future for the West Indies as they turn the corner starts at the under 15 level, and we can get some more sterling performances from the people in local and regional under 15 competition.
Healing, nourishing, restoring. Amazing products, essential to provide healthy skin. My kind of beauty. Let it be yours.
sum up the tournament as a whole for the West Indies?
Well, it's good to finish the World Cup with a victory. For us personally, it was very disappointing that we didn't get into the Final Four. I thought that we played good cricket every game, but just didn't, cross over the line. Most of the games, game against Australia, against New Zealand, Sri Lanka, all those games we won 85-90% in the game, but still didn't cross the line. So, it's been tough. It's been tough, but a lot of positives came out the World Cup. Young Puran, he scored 100, brilliant 100 against Sri Lanka. Then he scored 50 today, 60-yard against England. I thought he had a very good World Cup, averaging 50. Hope he played some good innings as well. Shannon Cottrell, he had a very good World Cup. I think he was the number one fielder up to this game. So I don't know how the point stand is at the moment, but before this game started, he was number one fielder. So we have a lot of positives to look at. In terms of building our cricket, the guys bought into the brand of cricket we wanted to play, and we have to continue to build on that. We have some young guys in the side who we want to go forward with and build West Indies cricket to where it belongs.
Is there?
Well, just Matt, you're still interim coach. How do you feel about the possibility of Robbie staying on? And if you had to stay on, what do you think you would need and require from your team if you had to stay on a bit longer to be coach after the India series?
Well, obviously, if I stay on. For me, it's just putting plans in place, to build a team going forward. We have some good positives coming out of the World Cup. So the next series we go into against India and build towards the 2023 World Cup. Once we get our squad of players, 20, 25 players that we can work with, then we can go forward and build a strong unit for the next World Cup. Obviously, being head coach, then you can really fully put your plans into place and go from there.
Chris Gayle has shown an inclination to stay on for the Indian series coming up in August. As coach, you'll be still coach there. How do you feel? Would you like to have Chris Gayle stay on a bit longer and play against India?
Well, Chris is a legend. It's a pleasure working with Chris, and he's a legend. Any guy that played 5 World Cups, that's a great achievement. So any knowledge Chris has, he passes it on to the junior players. It's always good to have senior players and junior players in the side. Experience mixed with youth. I think that's a good blend. So I'm looking forward for his performances against India as well.
A little bit ultra positive by the coach about playing good cricket. What do you think, Wayne?
Well, I could understand the coach seeking to highlight whatever positives there were coming out of the World Cup campaign. And yes, one can be encouraged with some of the performances, especially where the West Indies were able to run the likes of Australia and New Zealand are very close. And of course, the coach mentioned the performances by particularly Sheldon Cottrell, who I thought was maybe the only player up until young Puran got the 100 to really enhance his reputation in this current version of the World Cup. And again, positively, we have the basis for the rebuilding effort that is going to have to commence as soon as the team returns from England.
You're a man who reads body language. Do you really think that Coach Reefer was genuine in his comments, trying to be, as I said, ultra positive?
Well, he would have to be. He, as himself, would have been under examination, because this would have been his very first encounter at that level, at the real international level. And it was a difficult assignment, to be thrown right in for the very first time in a World Cup, not just an ordinary bilateral series. So Reefer himself would have been under quite a lot of pressure, and I would hope that he has learned quite a lot from it.
Give Jack his jacket and Floyd his fedora. Do you think some of that external pressure about this switcheroo that they did with the coaching staff ahead of the World Cup, and the fact that the West Indies crest has 2 stars above it, weighed heavily on what Floyd Reefer had to do as coach?
Well, I don't think it should. I mean, Floyd is a coach himself. He has ambitions of reaching the very top of his field, and he has been given the assignment, and I don't see why he would have to get caught up in those kind of pressures. There are other people in the West Indies cricket setup who would have to account for those decisions.
The players get marked on a scale of 1 to 10. What's your mark for coach Floyd Reefer?
I give him a 5. Fear.
Well, once we've got the highlights of the tour, I'm sure that catch by Fabian Allen will put a crescendo and an exclamation mark to the West Indies performances, and hopefully they can sustain it for the upcoming home series.
Welcome back. The early exit of the West Indies team from the World Cup has caused great disappointment among fans. However, plans are already in place for an improved performance and the way forward, as we found out recently in a conversation with Cricket West Indies Director Enoch Lewis. Our special guest today is Enoch Lewis, of course known some time ago as a dashing batsman for the Leeward Islands and the Combined Islands, but in more recent times as an administrator and currently a director of Cricket West Indies, and also the chairman of the cricket committee. And certainly glad that you agreed to be on our program.
Well, thanks for inviting me, and I look forward to contributing to the program.
Well, let's start where most of the interest lies right now, and that's the Cricket World Cup. And you know, many people have been following it, and I suppose it's fair to say that West Indies cricket fans are a bit disappointed, to say the least. The performances have not been what had been hoped for, and I am well aware that this is a great concern to you, especially not only as a fan, but especially as the chairman of the cricket committee. You, of course, will have your own views on what you've seen over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you have hit the nail on the head. I think there is disappointment, wide disappointment across the Caribbean as to exactly what transpired in England during the course of the World Cup. And if you look at it well, as the way we are, we're near the bottom, and the way I see it is only up from here. We just got to make sure that we put proper plans in place so that we can actually move forward.
But you know, anytime you're looking to move forward, sometimes you need to look at where you are and even where you would have come from. So therefore, how would you assess, what do you think, what went wrong really in the World Cup?
Well, I think it's a combination of things, everything that happened. Just look, and if you look and compare to our batting versus England here in our last one-day series versus what transpired in the World Cup, you would see our primary batsmen didn't deliver at the level that they did during the England series. And I think, you know, that and other factors are accounted for where we finally ended up. You have people who question the strategy, or lack thereof, and you have other people who question team selection and you know, factors like that. But everything contributed, I believe, to the eventual outcome where we did not deliver at the level that people were expecting.
And notwithstanding the World Cup, Enoch, of course, your committee's responsibility spans the entire gamut of West Indies cricket generally. And for you personally, what do you see as the priorities for your committee starting out, this brand new committee starting out, looking towards the, I'm going to have to say, revival of West Indies cricket?
So it's a huge task, you know, exceptionally huge task. But somebody has to do it, and we're prepared to put our hands up and see, you know, give it a shot. The committee was put together recently. It was approved at the last Cricket West Indies meeting, which was held on June 8 and 9. The committee members were recently advised of their appointment to this committee. We haven't met formally as a committee as yet, and but as it is, I've been doing a little bit of canvassing myself to find out exactly, where the priority should lie, because it seems like everything now needs attention. But of course, we have to do it, in a structured way. I'm happy that to some extent the cricket operations department headed by the director of cricket, Jimmy, has started the process. As you may be aware, we had a couple of emerging camps at the Coolidge Cricket Ground, one white ball, one red ball, with the view of starting to develop players so that we can have ready replacement players who are ready to take on the international role. And more of these camps must be held so that we can, players can transition from first-class cricket to international cricket in a much more successful and seamless fashion.
And the aspect of women's cricket, recall that the West Indies women just came off a very disappointing tour of England, having done much better against, I guess, lesser opposition in Ireland. But as far as the promotion and development of women's cricket, I'm also sure that your committee would have to be making plans going forward for women's cricket.
Absolutely, we're looking at a broad spectrum, all aspects of cricket. You may be aware that youth cricket under 19 is being rebranded the Future Stars sort of, and we're putting a lot of emphasis now in ensuring that we play more cricket and it's better structured, so that eventually we can, develop players, these young players, so they can fulfill their potential. And hopefully, one day make us proud as West Indies cricketers. We look at it, for argument's sake, we develop a player like, say, a Jeffrey Archer, and all of a sudden we lost him to England, to the UK. Things didn't work out. So those are these discussions and so on that we're having. What created those issues, and how do we stop that kind of stuff from happening? Maybe it's purely a commercial decision, but we want to make sure that as a cricket committee that we look at all aspects. We're too small a territory, as I call it, 5-6 million people versus England with a huge population, to be losing players, especially to these, more developed, I would call it, in terms of their structure, cricketing nations. And so, it's like I said, we haven't sat down and list out exactly where we want to start, but I know that there's going to be significant focus on the youth cricket. We have the Under-19 World Cup coming up next year. The players are already in training for that. There's some camps have been held, and that training will be ongoing. We have the Under-17, I believe. The players from all the territories travel tomorrow to Trinidad for the Under-17, followed by the Under-19. And so we want to make sure we're playing a lot more cricket. Just recently, we increased the number of contracts to the ladies to 15, because we want to broaden the scope and ensure that we have more cricketers that we are catering to and would be available to represent West Indies. We're going to take a look at the franchise system to see what needs to be done there. One of the ideas that's come across is that we need to look, take a serious look at the coaches in those territories, in all the franchises, because it is thought that we need to have ensure that we have elite coaches at all the franchise level, and coaches who can talk to each other across territories rather than just being focused on your single territory. In other words, Leeward's winning a tournament or Barbados winning a tournament. It has to be focused on cricket development broadly in the West Indies.
If you can just revisit the Joe for Archer issue though, because just the other day I was chatting with a friend, and the whole issue came up of Cricket West Indies, not really doing a whole lot to entice Joe for Archer to play for the West Indies. And of course, being the director for some time, you should have some, I would imagine, some inside information where that is concerned. As far as you're aware, were any attempts made to try to keep Joe for Archer in the West Indies?
No, I mean, I can't say that I have all the information, but my understanding, just from where I sit, is that he somehow suffered an injury and felt that the support structure that should have been there for him wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And my understanding is that he got that support structure somewhere else and felt obliged to the people who did that to then go on and represent them. One of our issues in the Caribbean is that, we certainly cannot match a UK in terms of just facilities. We don't have the facilities that they have. We don't have the resources there that they have either. So they put, for argument's sake, significant expertise in terms of doctors and so on, around their players, around their county players. Our limited resources prevent us from doing that, but that doesn't stop us from reaching out to a player to find out what we can and should do. So it means that our communication needs to improve, starting with the franchise, because for argument's sake, say Jeffrey Archer in Barbados is from Barbados, the franchise should know. Mm-hmm. And the franchise should be then alert to Cricket West Indies. Look, we have a crisis here. We have somebody with significant potential and we're about to lose. I'm just bringing it to your attention so then all of us can put our resources together, put our heads together, and determine how best we can prevent that from happening.
But those medical resources that you talked about, would that explain, let's say, why Jason Roy, who seemed to be fairly badly injured early in the World Cup, has been able to not only come back in the team, but has been able to come back and perform at a high level? Sometimes, like any other country, we lose players to injury, and it is not always that we can get them back in short time.
Yeah, I would imagine, the technology that they have there around the team is going to be superior. Just like, the Indians are going to have, they have significant resources. And so you might find that around that Indian team, they probably have a lot of specialists. And because now Roy is now a national treasure, that injury is going to be taken care of at the best hospital you can find in the UK, because now this World Cup is so important to the UK. This is not just about cricket, this is about a nation. Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden he's now going to get the best possible care. If it's not available immediately around the team, they're going to provide it at some, hospital, some, wellness center that is in the UK. And their resources allow them to do that, and I would imagine that he would have been looked at, probably given 24/7 care since that injury happened, to get him back on his feet.
Staying on the topic of player relations, one of the issues plaguing West Indies cricket in recent years, and one can go back as far as to put a beginning point to it, 2014 in India, has been the matter of players' availability to represent the West Indies, given a number of the lucrative contracts and offers that these players would have been given in the international franchises, and having to make that decision between West Indies representation and fulfilling those obligations. How do you see us going forward dealing with a matter such as that?
Well, the thing is to try and contract the players as early as possible. But what do you do if the player refuses a contract? That's a challenge, because you can make an offer, but then the player could decline the offer at the same time. And Cricket West Indies, I know, have been trying to contract who they consider to be the best players so that they would be available to represent the region. Some players have chosen not to, and understandably so, because a cricketer's lifespan is relatively short, and so an injury occurs tomorrow, and you don't really know for sure. So you try to capitalize on your revenue potential while you can. But we're trying to strike a balance. West Indies Cricket Board has already tried to strike a balance in the way that with the CPL, we have our Caribbean Premier League where the players earn significant sums from that. And we also have cleared the window for the IPL. So that the players can also go there and make the big bucks, as we call it. Or we're trying to strike a balance to say to the players, look, we have opened the door for you to play these, but we want you to work with us in terms of ensuring that you're available to play for West Indies when called upon, and not necessarily go and play in all the leagues, because all the leagues are coming on in leaps and bounds. They're all over the place now, and if you follow to the leagues, then the players are just not available anymore. So the players now has to kind of balance it, and we're hoping that they do, in terms of giving back to the Caribbean or giving back to the country that actually invested in them when they were quite young, and kind of put them out there in the world so the world could see them, and now they choose them as players. And we have several of those players. Hopefully, and there have been ongoing discussions with players to see how best we can facilitate them becoming financially stable, and at the same time represent the West Indies so that we can at least be a force once again in cricket internationally, because we recognize that the value of the support that people provide. People are passionate about cricket in the region, and my hope is that we can, as a team and as a region, make these people proud for an extended period, so that they can walk around with smiles on their faces again.
We'll have more from Enoch Lewis, the chairman of CWI's Cricket Committee, in future episodes. For expert tuition, call the Calvary Institute. We offer classes at primary and secondary level. Our adult programs include floral arranging, jewelry making, crochet, knitting, sewing, photography, conversational Spanish, and more. Check out our summer special in video editing. Phone 232-2109. The Calvary Institute in Wilmot Street. Welcome back. When we think of Argentina, we normally think of football, but there's also a cricket connection. Martin, I know you braved the weather to find out a bit more about it.
Yes, indeed, Philip. The largest purpose-built cricket facility in South America is actually in Buenos Aires in Argentina, and under the auspices of the Barbados Cricket Association and the Argentine counterparts, their ambassador, Gustavo Martinez Pandiani, witnessed two of his compatriots, Pedro and Ramiro, going through their paces at the hallowed Kensington Oval, where they were met also by the BCA president, Conde Riley.
We want to express our gratitude because we have our two players, Ramiro and Pedro, who came all the way from Argentina to the Mecca of cricket, because we had the opportunity last year to receive your footballers in Argentina, And for us, it's a reason of pride to have our first cricketers in Barbados. I know they're going to be having a great time here, and they're going to become better bowlers. They're going to be here for 2 months. So I hope it's not only a great experience for them in terms of the sports, but especially because of a kind of a life experience.
When we signed the memorandum earlier this year, we were committed to assisting Argentina when we heard about the exchange with the Barbados Football Association. I know football is a strong sport in Argentina. We are certainly a very strong territory in terms of West Indies cricket. I believe they will learn a lot. We're training with our national team. Although we have a lot of our senior players, in our captain, who's actually captain of the West Indies, in England, participating in the World Cup. That these youngsters here, these are more emerging players, and we have a good cadre of coaches. Some of them have played for Barbados and the West Indies, in the case of basketball. So I believe the learning experience will be a great one for these two young players. And look forward to continuing the association with them.
This place is awesome, and coaches are really good. Their experience during their lives as players, as coaches, is incredible. All the knowledge we are receiving, we really appreciate it, and we hope we can transmit it to the young generation. The weather is hard, the training is hard. We are training two times a day, so it's difficult to get into the rhythm, also with the heat of the sun and different food and water, but we think we are doing well.
The place is amazing. We don't have these facilities in Argentina as regards cricket. As you all already know, football in Argentina it may be like this.
A few days ago, I received some messages from a young Barbadian footballer by the name of Nikolai Breakbreast. He is doing exactly what you're doing here, but in a club in Argentina, a football club called Lanús Football Club. He's training there. He's doing some tryouts for the first division in Argentina. He's an 18 or 19-year-old kid from Barbados. But he sent me a couple of pictures. And the pictures were of himself interacting with his new friends. You know, the Argentine footballers around the same age he has. And I was particularly happy because I realized that Nikolai is enjoying Argentina not only at the football field, but also outside the football field. He's making new friends. He's interacting with a new culture, in a new language, with new, even food and weather, because we are in winter in Argentina right now. So I guess you, Ramiro and Pedro, you are going to have the same gain out of this experience. You're going to have new friends. I'm sure you already are, sending messages with your team players. And I think that is the most important thing behind this particular project. Because, sport is a very important part of life, but friendship is what is most worthy. And I think we have the opportunity of strengthening our relationships through these young kids, so these young men, in order to have more friendly relations between the two countries.
So a program, Martin, of benefit to both Argentina and Barbados. And I'm sure we'll be hearing a bit more about that.
Indeed, it's part of an exchange program. Our under-17 soccer players have been down as well. The netball players are up, so that's South-South dialogue and exchange of expertise. They may beat us at football, but we'll hold them to road tennis and cricket.
And cricket, fair enough. Anything Cricket, Let's Talk is brought to you by Rascals Barbados, My Kind of Beauty, and the Calvary Institute. Rascals Barbados, let us serve you in a relaxed atmosphere with complimentary Wi-Fi or try a takeout meal. Rascals on the Mighty Grinder Highway. Call 538-9990. That's our show. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to join us again soon on another episode of Anything Cricket. Let's talk.